Hello, everyone. This is Oriana for FanoosMagazine.com. I am here with my friend, the amazing Tay, all the way from Minneapolis, Minnesota, who I had the pleasure of meeting finally in person when I went to Jawahir Dance Company's summer soiree last year. And it is so good to see you on screen this time.
I wish I could just jump through and give you a hug because we only got to meet and chat for a little bit and it wasn't long enough, but now we're here.
And now we're here. And you have this online presence that I really love and admire, where so many people look up to you. You are very present on social media with your dancing and your classes and everything that you're doing for your community. So thank you so much for accepting my humble invitation to do an interview for this issue of Fanoos Magazine.
Of course. Thank you.
So I know that you've been studying for quite some time yourself, and you've been dancing for quite some time. Your movement quality is so controlled, but it's also very deep and it's very emotional. And there's this kind of technique about it that makes everything just really land. And I think that's why people love watching you too, is that they love your movement quality. How did you develop that in your process?
Yeah, so I would say it really goes back to my early dance life. So I've trained many years in all of the classical, for lack of better word, styles. So ballet, jazz, tap, modern, contemporary, all the styles. But I'm from a very unique area. So I am located in Minneapolis, but I'm from Brownsville, Texas. And if you don't know where Brownsville is, it is the last stop before the water before you get to Mexico. So I'm from a very unique place and it's called the Valley, the RGV. Almost every high school has a dance program. Middle school and high school has a dance program. So, in addition to me being a studio dancer, I was a competition dancer from middle school throughout high school. And when I found belly dance, specifically Egyptian style belly dance, I was dancing at a studio. I had no idea what it was. I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. And it was dress rehearsal. So I had my little hip hop and ballet stuff ready to go. And I walked into the studio, and there were three ladies sitting with a coin bra, coin belt, black, no, they didn't have black skirts. They had corresponding colored skirts, and they had veils, and they had sagats. And I was like, what's this? What's that? I had no idea why they were wearing what they were wearing. I didn't know what it was. Everyone was just lined up and waiting to run their piece. So immediately when they started dancing, it wasn't like a, oh, that's interesting. It was almost like a visceral reaction and connection because I could see the movement, but I could also see the story, even though I had no idea what they were saying in the music. I'd never heard this style of music before. I'd never seen this style of dance, but that was such a pivotal moment for me because I felt it in me. That's the best way that I can think about it. But being from the valley and being exposed to so many different cultures was really the most influential part of who I am as an artist, especially being a minority amongst minorities. So the population in the valley is about 98% Hispanic. And in my high school, I was all of two Black students. So being able to immerse myself in a culture and then also dance at a studio that was very open and encompassing to different cultures was amazing for me, and it really helped me grow from there. And I mean, more recent events and just different things I've had to go through, becoming a mother, navigating different major life changes, rebuilding parts of myself that I didn't think I would have to rebuild. All of that really shows through my dance. It shows in my emotion and how much joy I feel when I dance. And I always say I should get a tattoo of it to say, nothing can get me when I'm dancing. So, whatever I'm going through, nothing can get me when I'm dancing. It doesn't matter what it is. You can't get me when I'm here. So all of those things really are what shaped me into the artist that I am.
Well, that was the first question, and I'm going to start crying. Oh my, I need that at least on a shirt. Oh my word.
Nothing can get me.
Nothing can get me when I'm dancing. Well, that leads me to my next question, which, honestly, like if anybody has seen you perform, whether it's live or through social media or through a video, you are very calm, very undeniably embodied in the moment and in yourself and in your dance. And I know a lot of dancers, especially when they're advancing, they tend to struggle with that because there's that nervousness or how do I become more expressive? So what was your process, your internal process for becoming so present in those moments? Was it discipline or was it something else?
I'll say it's discipline and consistency, but not in the way that's logistical, if you will. So if you are approaching your dance journey from a very pedagogical perspective, it makes sense for you to say, I'm going to do this on this day, I'm going to do this on this day, I'm going to record a video and watch myself and pick these things apart. We all do that as dancers. We all love to go back to our old videos and be like, girl, what are you doing with that arm? Why are we doing those things? So we all do that, but for me, it's always more of how can I continue to sit with myself and sit with whatever piece of music, of even just like one movement. How can I sit with this and decipher what it makes me feel? Because ultimately, that's what everybody's looking for. They're looking for feeling and they're looking for connection. Even beyond dance, the entire world is looking to feel and they're looking to connect. And if they can't see that in your dance, then sometimes it's a struggle and it's hard as a dancer. It's not something that I've struggled through, but as I've trained dancers and they're like, Tay, I feel it, but ain't nobody seeing it. Why can't they see it? And there are certain exercises that you can do, of course, watching yourself dance, allowing other peers to watch you dance. But I always give, especially my private students, I always give them a piece of music and I say, I want you to listen to it. I want you to just move to it and then send it to me because I want to see what comes out. I don't want you to dance in front of a mirror. I don't want you to dance in front of anybody. I want you to just do it. I don't care if a funky chicken comes out. I don't care what comes out. Just move your body and then ask yourself, what did I feel when I was doing that? Because ultimately, if you can lean on one to two feelings and start to truly reflect those when you're moving, you can evolve from there.
I could not agree more. And honestly, watching you, like your musicality is so spot on, and your movement variety is there, and everything feels very intentionally put there because of that feeling and because of that methodology that you're using. So, how do you decide what not to put in? A lot of people struggle with trying to put too much into their choreography, and yours is always like right spot on. How do you decide what to edit?
So I always remember I studied dance at a collegiate level. So I studied at UTPA, it's now UTRGV, and Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri. And I also danced at a conservatory there. And I remember my professors being so, I'll be kind. They were a bit strict, but they were very, very intentional about paying attention to your timing and not trying to do too much. It's kind of like, so I used to work at Texas Roadhouse, right? Walk with me. I swear it'll make sense. I used to work at Texas Roadhouse, and one of the big things that you have to learn is steak temperature, right? And any time that I would go to a table and I'd say, how do you want your steak cooked? And if you don't know anything about steak and you're like, well, what's the difference between a medium and a medium well, right? I'll tell them, all right, you can cook up, but you can't cook back. So if you start with a little bit, you can always go up, but it's always extremely difficult to like cut back. At least I find it that way. So if I put on some music, especially drum solos, and there's a lot of embellishments going on, I still pay attention to the bass rhythm first because you can't go wrong and you can always lean on, okay, I know a Maksum's gonna do this. I know a Beladi is gonna do this. So I can lean on that and I can feel comfortable, but then I can also start to build. And then you also know most people in the audience, especially if you have an audience that is of the culture, that's something that you can tap into also. So I always lean on you can cook up, but it's really, really hard for you to cook back. So it's okay to stick to the basics. It's okay to stick to things that make sense with the rhythm or like one or two embellishments, but you don't always have to do a whole lot. Scale it back, sit with what feels good and just let it come out. You don't always have to do too much.
This is why we get along. You and I teach very similarly. I'm going to reference steak in my classes.
My references, have you heard my Costco reference when we shimmy?
I have not heard your Costco reference.
My Costco reference, I tell everybody to grab a shopping cart when we're starting to learn Egyptian shimmies. I'm like, you know how ugly that gray cement floor is? Your feet are stuck in the cement floor, and all you got to run, girl, is those knees. And you're trying to get to the back of the store to get those roasted chickens that everybody wants. And you're walking slow because it's Sunday morning and you got there early. So you're going, and then boom, there goes Samantha, there goes Susie, and you're like, girl, I gotta run a little more. These chickens are gonna be gone, but you can't go nowhere because your feet are on the floor. So you gotta move those knees faster. And by the time it's said and done, everybody's shimmying and they have their chickens.
I'm without words right now. I have never. I'm going to remember that. I am absolutely going to remember. And now it is memorialized in video. Run for the chickens. I'm sorry. That's going to make me laugh for the rest of the week. I really needed that. So you're also extremely good about filming yourself, which is, I'm not very good at that at all. I get far too self-conscious at times. And you're very good about your visibility and the way that you present yourself. And it does feel curated but still genuine to me when I watch it. It doesn't you're not doing TikTok dances and, kind of random challenges. You show up as yourself, and you show up and you're very present in those videos. How are you approaching sharing your art in such a very public way, and it still feels authentic to you?
Yeah, so visibility and impact are not always the same thing. Just because you are visible doesn't mean you are making an impact. And even if you are making an impact, you have to ask yourself, what type of impact am I making? Being on social media is a very big responsibility. It really, really is. There are a lot of decisions, especially like mental and moral decisions that you have to sit with when you have a large platform. So I just always ask myself, if someone were to meet me in person, what would they expect to hear from me? What would they expect to feel when they meet me? I don't ever want someone to see me on the internet and be like, "Child, that girl's not who she said she was." I never I never want anyone to feel that. And I've always grown up. I have wonderful parents. My parents have always poured into who I am, what I want to do, where I want to go, everything I've done. My parents have always poured into me, and that plays a big part in my level of confidence and just my ability to also want to pour into other people because that's really what helps build self-confidence. It comes from within, but we would be foolish to say we didn't seek validation outwardly at some point in time. We're humans. We're not meant to work through stuff alone. So I use social media as a very, very valuable tool, and I'm really grateful for the community that I've been able to create. And that's honestly what keeps me just being who I am. Because most of the people that are on my videos, oh, my light died. Most of the people that are on my videos, they're able to say, oh, I remember like when you had your baby and like all the things that you told us and how real you were and how comfortable it made me to say that I'm going through the same thing. Like I'm a dancer and I'm a mom and I know how hard that is. That's why I post videos with my kids in the background. Sometimes I'm like, listen, sometimes it's not pretty, sometimes it's difficult, but this is who I am and I'm going to show you what that looks like, not just because I know it's going to be received well, but I know it's going to have a positive impact on a woman that may be going through the same thing that I'm going through. And I also say, like, I don't film everything. I feel like a lot of people think like, dang, girl, you have videos coming out left and right. Oh, I don't film everything. Y'all don't hear me screaming, cussing, and crying whenever music's not working right or anything like that, or when I just turn on music and move and I need to sit with it and I need to work through it, or if I just need to work through something. I've had some pretty significant life changes recently, and dance has been the most consistent and the longest relationship that I've had. And it's always what yes, it's always what I lean on. So I want my art to reflect that. I want it to reflect the same values that brought me to dance, that keep me with dance, and that's being authentic and building connection and healing and joy.
Yes, to all of that. Yes. Simply put, yes. Absolutely. And I think it's important to just put a pin on not everything gets filmed. You know, you can be very authentic and you can be very honest. But I think the pressure to film literally everything does not need to be there. You know, you're still maintaining a sense of privacy, and I think that's important to say. Speaking of that, there is like I said, I keep mentioning the word present, like you're very present when you dance. I can tell you're very embodied, like Micheline said in her interview. And you have a strong sense of self-trust in yourself. And I also feel like that's another thing that comes very, very hard for some dancers is to, trust what their body's about to do when they command it to do so. And as a teacher, how do you suggest building that over time? Or is it something that you think comes naturally and then you develop it? Or how do you investigate that?
I think it's both. I think it can come naturally because it does come naturally for me. I would be a bold-faced lying like a rug, if I didn't say that it does come very easy for me to just trust my body and like whatever happens happens. It's kind of like when you have a best friend or if you have a partner, you trust them and you do that sometimes pretty blindly, and there's either going to be a high return or there may not be a very good return, but you do it because it's a part of the process. And whether or not the return is what you want it to be or not, there's always something that is going to come out of that. There's always an additional step in that journey. So for those like me that it just naturally happens and I'm like, well, that didn't turn out the way that I wanted to, but you know, the greatest way for you to research anything is to play and make a fool of yourself. So if it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, that's okay. Somebody on the internet will forget about it over time. But I think those that struggle with trusting their bodies or trusting themselves or movement or really anything, it does come with time. It comes with time and it comes with the right community and the right support. Because I've already said this and I'm a firm believer, we are not meant to go through this world alone. We are not. That's why it's so important to have a mentor and it's so important to have a community to lean on. Because if you're a newer dancer and you're like, I want to do it. I'm jumping. I'm going to do it. I want to perform. I want to do these things. I want to do it, but you don't yet know what comes with that. It's nice to have a person. It's nice to have somebody or people to help you guide yourself or to help guide you through those things. And that's so much more than, okay, I figured out how to, perfectly improv to a beledi or taksim. I've figured out all of these things. It's more than just technical and logistical. It's also spiritual. It really, really is. And even spirituality, I'm a very spiritual person. Your journey is hardly ever alone. Hardly ever alone. So building that trust within yourself is something that you can lean on your community to help you do.
Yeah, talking about long relationships. Yeah, dance in the community. If you are connected, and the sense of community is going to change over time. I was actually just talking to a student today that you're going to have people come in and out of your life as you grow as an artist, but it is incredibly important to not be a lone wolf in your creation. Absolutely. Speaking of community and staying connected, a somewhat hot topic at times
Mhm.
is staying connected to the roots of Rakshaki and
Mhm.
still being allowed to innovate and to express yourself and to evolve. And I tend to end up having this question with almost everybody that I interview in some sort of semblance, whether I'm asking about like, oh, what do you think the future of the dance is? What do you think is, but I do also think there's a really strong narrative for how we are showing up and expressing ourselves in these times. So how are you simultaneously staying true to the roots and evolving yourself?
So I don't see tradition and individuality as opposing forces. I think they run parallel very, very often, especially with art, because art, even being cultural, it evolves, it changes. And I'm a firm believer that the quickest way to kill an art form is to silo it and to prevent any sort of evolution. I'm a very firm believer in that. But the more that I study the roots of the dance and the culture, the more freedom I find within it. Whenever you discover something and you truly immerse yourself in it and you understand boundaries and metrics and all of the things, it's easier for you to find where your bounds are, right? It's easier for you to say, I know this works this way. So, how can I incorporate myself or even other cultural art forms and still stay true to what it is, you know? So, honoring tradition really for me means continuing to learn from teachers, musicians, and cultural sources while recognizing that this dance came long before I did. Came long before I did, came long before any of us in this community actively did, and it's going to continue long after all of us are gone. Who knows what it's going to look like? We know trends come and go. I love seeing golden era stuff coming back. I love seeing everything just make the move back. It's just like the 90s. Everybody says it wasn't the best era, but look at the fashion, you know. So, so I really feel like my individuality shows up in my musical interpretation, although there are guidelines, right, for what the music is telling you and how the music is composed and what time period and who, what, when, where, and why the music is the way that it is. But my life experiences, my struggles, my joy, and my own heritage naturally flows and meshes with the art, especially being a Black woman. I think of it as language, especially the English language in a lot of ways. Our vernacular as Black Americans, you know, it comes through in different spaces and in different ways. And it's you know, it's authentic and it's who we are, and it's important for us to still show that. So I feel like it just naturally shows up, but the more that I study and the more that I am able to talk to source teachers and instructors and friends, like beyond paying the money and doing the things, yes, do that, support your artists, but get you some friends from the culture. Get you some friends. Talk to your friends. I have very, very close friends that I'll be like, hey, can you please just tell me what this song means? Or can you tell me what, like, can you tell me some things? Can you tell me what you felt when you were growing up? Can you tell me these things? Because it's so easy to go to the internet, but the devil is a lie. The internet will tell you all these things and it'll tell you exactly what you want to hear if you type it in right. But get you some friends that are of the culture and that have your best interests in mind and that are open to sharing things with you. And also be respectful. Be respectful of people, be respectful of their time, and be very thankful that you are a guest and you are allowed to grow and ebb and flow within this cultural art form.
Could not have said that better in any sort of way. Like if we can just clip that and like make that required listening 100%, that chef's kiss.
Thank you.
So you teach quite a bit
Mhm.
in Minneapolis. And when you are teaching, and a lot of people are starting to either get into teaching or they want to further their teaching, what do you find yourself encouraging the most? A lot of people may focus on technique, a lot of people may focus on mindset, or like how do you structure your teaching, and what do you find yourself encouraging in your students?
So, if we're talking process and pedagogy and such, I structure my classes very, very closely to the way that I've always trained dance. And that's with body mechanics in mind, safety in mind, and also mental in mind. So, my favorite thing to say is, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great. Don't No one in here is being adjudicated. No one in here is being judged. Ask yourself what you came here for and focus on that and just know that you'll be fine. It'll be great. No one's gonna pop out from around the corner and be like, "Gotcha." No one's gonna do that to you. And if they did, listen, I'm little, but I can fight, you know? So I structure my classes very much the way that I grew up dancing, which is very heavy on ballet, and that's just because it's my framework, and it's very important for how I've kept my body safe. Everyone loves to ask, "Tay, where'd you get those knees from?" Many plies, many plies, many dance anatomy classes, many dance workshops, all of the things that I learned throughout my competition years and at a collegiate level, I flow into my class. And I also pay attention to what different learners need. So, teeny tiny segue, I also am a teacher, K through 12. So I teach level 4 special education. And it's so very important for you to understand your different learners, especially if you're in the EBD, emotional behavioral disorder field. So when I teach dance, it's the same thing. There may be a student that's like, "Girl, give me the counts. Please just give me the counts." It might not work depending on what kind of music you're listening to. You might just have to use your ears, but I will try to count for you. Do you need visual aids? I will bring a box and tell you that this is what your pelvis is like. Do you need just those vocal cues? Everyone loves to call me a bop it because I say certain things when our bodies are doing certain things, but it's truly for your mind. Because if you're struggling to listen to the music and you just need those vocal cues, then it'll start to come out. Pattern recognition. Some people's brains work that way. So I want to be able to show up for everybody's different brains as best as I can. And although technique matters, especially depending, if you're looking to compete, if you're looking to perform and do all the things, but if there's one thing that I encourage the most, it's trust. Again, and not me. Don't worry about me. Of course, like, trust that I'm not going to get you hurt or anything, but you need to be able to trust yourself and trust your body and say, "You know what? I'm looking in the mirror today. Girl, them 3/4 shimmies, I don't know what's going on." But just trust that it can and will get better. Trust that you see another dancer doing something that you really want to do. Don't let it be envy. Don't let it be that. Never that. Trust yourself that you will get where you want to go when you're supposed to get there. Be along for the ride. It's okay. A lot of dancers come into class expecting perfection, especially if it's a workshop, right? When I teach drum solo workshops, there's always this like, "Okay, I got to get it. I got to do this." And it's like, baby, don't suck the fun out of it. You got to have the fun in there. So I always hope that students leave my class with a sense of connection and just a deeper sense of trust for themselves, to the music, and to the people around them. I talk a lot during my classes, a lot, not just because I want to be able to cater to everybody's brain in the best way that I can, but I want everyone to know we are all in here the same type of human. We are all the same humans in here. Talk to each other, laugh with each other, laugh at yourself. Make sure that you know that this is a human experience and we're all doing it at the same time.
Period. Amen. So, part of the interesting things about being, well, having a body of work that's in video, whether it's YouTube, competition videos, performance videos, or, social media, is that there is an element of it being a little bit evergreen, where you can go back and watch it, or somebody could go back and watch it. And when you look at what you've done, and you've kind of almost like shown so much of your work and of your creation and of your process, if someone were to study that body of work that you've made years from now, what do you hope that they would understand about you? And you kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier, but I'm going to revisit it. What is the most important thing that you would want them to take out of that body of work?
I would say that what would be the most important thing? That it's you, everyone has been witnessing a work in progress. They've been witnessing a work in progress. You've been witnessing a person moving through their life and sharing their art form and healing through the movement, growing and learning. I want people to know that that again is all just a human experience. And I want people to be able to, it's funny that you mentioned like I share so much because a lot of people do mention that. They're like, "Dang, girl, you share all these things." And people will DM me left and right like, "Hey, how should I do this thing? Hey, how should I do that?" And I'm like, "Here, piece of candy. Here, piece of candy." Like I'll tell you the things because there's room for everybody to eat. So I want everyone to be able to pull what they can and what works from them and what speaks to them from my work, but also know that I'm flying just the same way that you're flying. It may look like I got it all together. It may look like I have this whole thing planned out, but baby, I'm flying at the same speed as you are, and it's probably really, really fast, and your hands are covering your eyes, and you're just doing your personal best. So I want people to know that although you see this end result and you see this Tay that's like, dang, Tay's got it together. Dang, ooh, look another video. Ooh, look another video. There's a lot that goes behind that, and there's a lot that people don't see. There's a lot of struggle. There's sometimes pain. There's sometimes tears. There's breakdowns. There's, man, that quality was just like terrible, but I'm just gonna put it out there anyways. And then boom, it gets 1.5 million views. Make me sick. But all of those things, make me sick. But there's so much that people don't see. And I'm a woman, a mom, a teacher, and all those things, just like everybody else is, just like everybody else.
Thank you so, so, so much for doing this interview with us. I always incredibly value when I can have interviews with people that are so genuine and so open. And I know that it helps a lot of dancers to hear interviews from a variety of people, but especially these really like involved ones of, needing to hear, yes, we're all in this together. So where do you teach?
So currently, I teach in Minneapolis. I am on vacation right now, so my classes are not in Minneapolis while I am in Texas. But I do still teach virtually on Sundays, returning next week after Father's Day, because I'm down here to spend Father's Day with my dad. But 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I have four different classes, and they are all level friendly. I give different options and different embellishments. One of my other favorite things to say is, if you want more, I'll give you more, but if you need less, take it away. This class is for you. It's not for me. It's for you to come in here and take what you need and leave out there what doesn't serve you. So I teach a basic belly dance class, which is just kind of ebbs and flows, and it's usually like topics and different pieces within the art. I teach a sweaty shimmy class, and it's nothing but shimmies, and it's aerobic, and it's a lot of fun. Belly fit combos, which is a very aerobic, and I would say more towards intermediate because we learn multiple combinations and then we just rock it out and dance it, and it's a lot of fun. And then my newest class is Shake and Flow, and that one's very special to me because it is a true embodiment of Tay's dance brain and all the different art forms and cultures that I've been privileged enough to be a part of together in one. And I'm really, really proud of it. I really, really love it. It's a lot of fun. I will be teaching a couple of workshops that I have not announced just yet. So stay tuned for those. But yeah.
All right. That brings us to the end of the interview. Thank you so much again, Tay, and thank you to everyone. Make sure to tune in to fanoosmagazine.com for more.